Thanks for coming in. And I'm going to teach you the key lessons, that the first things you need to teach a child when they're getting started. Before you do any painting, you want to start off with a key lesson of a paintbrush. Now I have a paintbrush here. I'm going to switch to my document camera and I'm going to talk about materials in a minute. But first of all, what we're going to do is focus on painting. The key lesson, the introduction to painting, and that is introducing students to the materials. And it is an actual lesson. And when you do this, you'll have so much more success teaching little ones. I do this with toddlers and they love this activity. So the first thing I like to do is introduce the paintbrush. And I'll switch to my document camera in a minute when we start using it. But there's actually a way to introduce a paintbrush, and I'm going to give you the basics. You can jot these down in your notes. So when you introduce a paintbrush, you want to tell your students, today I want to introduce the paintbrush. And I'm going to tell you all about its parts. It has body parts. And the body parts are usually the wood handle that you have. That's where the child holds the paintbrush. Then there's a metal part, a frill. It's called a frill, which holds the wood part and the bristles, the hairs of the paintbrush. And then you have the bristles. Now this is what's important to teach kids, is this bristle right here. I have a nickname for it, and it's like a body part. I have a toe. The tip is called the toe, almost like when you're dipping your toe in water. So I call the tip a toe, and then the full part right here I call a belly, like filling up your belly. So I like to give them these cute little nicknames, and right away I get the kids' interest, like, oh my God, the paintbrush has a toe and a belly. So when I'm teaching them how to make a paintbrush, I'm going to say, dip your toe, fill your belly. So that's your paintbrush. So that is an introduction to the paintbrush. And then you're going to introduce the wash jar napkin. Now I'm going to switch to my document camera, and I'm going to be presenting with these watercolor cakes. All right, so after I introduce the paintbrush and all its body parts, the wood handle, the frill, I gotta get in front of my camera, so not. Then I introduce the wash jar. And the reason why you want to get kids in this handy thing of using a wash jar is that way they're not running around, making a mess and going to the sink. This jar right here, if you do this key lesson correctly, you're going to have less spills and less mess. It's almost like a sink. So this is their washer where they wash their brush, and then you either have a napkin. Now I know the Montessoris like to use washcloths, but you can use a paper towel, and you want it stationed underneath the jar, and you want to tell kids this is not for your hands. The smock that you're wearing, like I wipe my hands on my smock if I need to wipe my hands, because you don't want kids running back and forth. So this is a wash jar for the paintbrush, and this is a napkin for the paintbrush. And the basic key lesson is I'm going to show you how to wash your paintbrush. So these dry cakes, these are watercolor cakes, and they get activated with water. If you've seen them before, some of you probably have used them, some of you may not have. So I'm going to activate them by getting water on it and make a brush stroke. And if I want to get a new color, I need to wash my brush. And this is a lesson that we're teaching. The key lesson is how to wash a brush. Wash, wash, dry, dry. Wash, wash, dry, dry. Then you can activate another color. And then make a paint brush stroke. Okay, let's wash that. So everybody do that with me. You're going to wash, wash, dry, dry, wash, wash, dry, dry. And I have kids actually do this with me. That's the key lesson, is making sure that kids can get to their wash jars. Now, another tip I want to tell you is if kids are left-handed, you want to make sure that their wash jar is on the left side. If kids are right-handed, you want to make sure they're on the right side. You want to make everything, I'm right-handed, so I generally have my wash jar to my right side. You don't want kids reaching over and knocking things over. You also don't want wash jars that are narrow at the bottom. So my wash jars are always wide and thick. You can use heavy jars. I use like yogurt jars. And then you're going to make a quick brush stroke, and you're going to practice wash, wash, dry, dry, wash, wash, dry, dry. There we go, and your paintbrush is ready to go. Introducing the paintbrush and the wash jar. Now, every single time that they go to paint, you always want to say you're gonna grab a napkin, you're gonna have a wash jar, and you're gonna have your paintbrush, and you're gonna have your paper, or you're gonna have the type of paints. And so now that you have key lesson number one, that's when you first asked me, what's the first thing I should teach my students? This was the lesson right here. So that's key lesson number one. Now